Hello everyone. So have you downloaded the Sanchar Saathi app as yet? Well, there's a new debate in India, a new panic, a new national security tool, and no, it's not Pegasus this time, it's the Sanchar Saathi app, the shiny, new, public welfare app the government of India now wants pre-installed on every smartphone sold in the country. They wanted it mandatory, inbuilt, non-negotiable. And then, after the outrage, the questions, the privacy concerns, the comparisons to Pegasus, the opposition backlash, and lakhs of citizens asking, why are you forcing this on us? The government has now rolled back its own order. So in 24 hours, there are so many notifications from PIB, first announcing the government plan, and then the government plan to uninstall their own plans to get their Chakshu installed on our phones. Even Apple, yes, the same Apple that bends backward for China's data laws, is saying, we are not complying, boss. Opposition had been calling it official Pegasus. Now on December 2nd, government announced their plan. Midday, Jyotiraditya Scindia, the minister, issued a clarification that people can choose to delete the app. And then, in couple of hours since then, the Department of Telecommunication decided that pre-installation is no longer mandatory. Maybe in the next few hours, at this rate with which the decisions are being changed, maybe the app would require a permanent update and will keep buffering forever. I mean, it's great that pre-installation is not mandatory anymore, but let's be clear. They rolled it back only after trying to make it mandatory in the first place. And here's the funniest part. The government proudly says 1.4 crore people have downloaded the app. Amazing, truly amazing. But India has 140 crore people. That means just 1% has downloaded it voluntarily. So if 1% downloaded on their own, the plan of the government was to pre-install it for the remaining 99%. Why? What urgent national security emergency requires 99% of remaining India to carry one specific government app in their pockets? And if the app was so popular, so effective, so widely accepted, why was there any need to force it? And after having forced it, if it was so much required, what was the need to backtrack? Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. Sanchar Saathi already exists on your Play Store or Apple Store. Earlier, it was your choice. Now the government insisted it should come preloaded on every device. Oh, there's a helpful tool inside the app called Chakshu, meaning eyes. Very comforting. What can it do? Track your phone if lost or stolen. Block your phone remotely. Detect spam numbers. Report unsolicited calls. Fantastic. Exactly what your Android or iPhone already does. Exactly what your mobile operator already does. Exactly what Truecaller already does. So why reinvent the wheel unless the wheel is meant to go somewhere else? Because for a lost phone tracker, what does the app need? GPS? GPS access, which means it can monitor where you are going. It will have access to your location. The app says it can track your mobile connection. Excuse me? Previously, if I come under the scanner of any law agency, the agency would request the service provider to share details on me, only if I was under any kind of suspicion. Now, they will not need such formalities any longer of asking details about me from my service provider, because they will be right there, sitting on my phone and having access to everything. And once it's pre-installed, what else can it access quietly in the background? Your call logs, your messages, your WhatsApp, your contacts, your location, every second, just asking. Since when did the government become the default caretaker of my personal digital life? Well, you also have these people from that BJP ecosystem strongly, staunchly defending the app, shouting on top of their voices, saying this app cannot really access your personal details. It cannot listen to your call. It cannot have access to your WhatsApp messages. As if these minions had created this app. They know so much. And even after knowing so much, it's their government, I mean our government, has backtracked on this app they had been defending for the past 24 hours as being very, and I can add another very, useful. Let's be clear, we are already under surveillance. Let's be honest about it. Surveillance is not new. CCTV checks everywhere. Digi Yatra scans your face at airports. Aadhaar is linked to your bank, your phone, your gas, your PAN, your life. Supreme Court had once said Aadhaar linkage should be optional. The government said cute anyway. Look at Digi Yatra. It's voluntary, but the government was very smart. Free access, no queues, smooth boarding. Who wouldn't want that? You can choose not to use it. No one forces you. But once you use it, you are literally telling the government, boss, I'm taking this 7:55 flight to Mumbai. Please buy a cappuccino from Starbucks and wait for me at the Aero Bridge. Or if you're not liked and if you're Kunal Kamra, then it's like telling them, boss, I'm taking this flight to Mumbai. Either police can come and arrest me or the cadres can come and welcome me in their own style. Let's look at another helpful feature inside this Sanchar Saathi, Hathi Mere Saathi. Know your wireline ISP. On paper, it sounds harmless. Type your location, see all broadband providers in your area, simple, convenient, citizen-friendly. But scratch the surface and the problems start showing. For example, the outdated or incomplete ISP listing. The Department of Telecommunication database isn't always perfect. Many ISPs may not get updated regularly. Smaller regional providers may get ignored, which means Know Your Wireline ISP feature can mislead you more than it can help you. And small companies who already struggle against the giants, they may get buried deeper. Once again, location access, which means more centralization. Now to fetch ISPs near you, the app would require your location. Fair enough. But once again, we return to the same fundamental question. Why should a government-run central platform collect this data? Because every time one more feature asks for your location, one more layer of your personal footprint gets added into the system. So where does the location data go? Who stores it? For how long? For what purpose? Who audits the audits? No answers. Government may just say, trust us. There could be another angle, the security aspect. If the ISP listing database isn't properly secured, scammers can exploit it. How? By impersonating registered ISPs, by calling or messaging citizens by saying, sir, your broadband renewal is due. Ma'am, your fiber connection has an urgent verification. Please share the OTP. We already have fraud calls pretending to be from banks, UPI, courier service. This will give scammers another tool wrapped in an official government sheen. Also, the other factor, over-centralization of telecom information. Why should one government-controlled platform become the single point of telecom information for 140 crore people? Is it really about convenience, or is it about building the biggest telecom data hub India has ever seen? Because centralization is not just convenience. Centralization is power, and power over data is power over people. The bigger, most dangerous question, where will the government store all this data? Let's be brutally honest. When you have access to my phone, you have access to my data. And if you have access to the data of just 1/4 of India, let's say 35 crore people, that is not a database. That is like a digital continent. Where will the government keep it? In which server? Which location? Which infrastructure? Which private contractor will manage it? Which company will maintain it? And most importantly, which bidder will ultimately gain access to the ocean of information? Because data is not stored in the air. Data needs servers. Servers need vendors. Vendors need contracts. Contracts need companies. And companies have their own interest. It's not paranoia. It's plain simple maths. Have you ever realized that private companies already have access to your data? Have you ever wondered how your insurance company calls you at exactly the right moment saying, sir, Your car insurance renewal is due next week, even when you never told them. Maybe because your vehicle details are on the government's Vahan database. Maybe because some company, some intermediary, some vendor has access. Maybe because data is already circulating in circles you never approved. So when the government says, don't worry about Sanchar Saathi, we only collect information as what's necessary, ask yourself, necessary for whom? Necessary for what? Necessary till when? Because data once collected is never forgotten. Governments may change, policies may change, contracts may change, but databases remain. And the people in those databases, you and me, remain exposed forever. So before we celebrate a feature that tells us which broadband company serves our building, let's ask the real uncomfortable question. What does the government get in return? What does the system gain by knowing your exact location, your device, your SIM card, ISP, behavior pattern, and digital footprint? In a democracy, convenience should never come at the cost of consent, and no government app, no matter how shiny, should become the doorway to a surveillance regime. Because once your data enters the central pool, you don't control it anymore. But someone else does, and that someone should never have unchecked power. Look, the government may say, why don't you trust us? You have been using Google Map, this app, that app. These are foreign apps, so you can trust a foreign company, apps made by foreign companies, and you can't trust your own government? Well, many people are asking, why should we trust the government? In a country where people have been arrested under sedition laws and left to languish without trial, ask Umar Khalid, can he really trust the government? The law never called him a threat or a terrorist, but he is in jail for 5 years without trial because the government wants him to be behind bars. Lynchings happened over religious slogans, and the government did not condemn that loudly. Trust the government, absolutely, we will trust the government. We have a national media that never questions the government. Where number of debates on Hindu-Muslim have increased manifold, literally, hate debates have become primetime entertainment, and we have shamelessly crashed in press freedom ranking. You want us to trust the government. Critics are labelled anti-national. Natural resources are handed over to select corporates. Airports gone, forests gone, even Air India gone. Black money never came back. And yes, we must trust the government, never question it. Trust this government with our entire digital footprint, right? Google tracks me, yes, but Google cannot file an FIR against me. Google cannot raid my house. Google cannot decide that I am a threat because I liked a wrong post. That's the difference. The government tomorrow may say, this app will help in national security. Okay, great, I'm listening. So let's take this seriously for a moment, and I'm in this. If mandatory Sanchar Saathi on my phone will help catch terrorists like Dr. Umar Nabi, his associate Dr. Mujammil Shakil, his another associate Dr. Shaheen Saeed, then Adil Ahmed Rathar, then Farooq Ahmed Dar, then many more, I have no problem. We have a white-collar terror network. Everything busted only after the deadly terror attack. We lost our fellow Indians. We had no idea that they were existing until the blast. So if this app meant surveillance to a point that we can stop these attacks, then I'm willing to compromise with my freedom, whatever is left, for my fellow Indians. And then I will download this app right now. But then we also have CCTV everywhere. Terrorists were seen in every camera after the Delhi blast. Yet, we could not stop him. And we are now watching them in awe as how Umar roamed around the national capital, reached Red Fort, and no one stopped him because no one knew that he is a terrorist. Even our intelligence bureau did not know, because had they really known, I'm sure they would have stopped him. Or for that matter, the Pahalgam attack. If this app on every phone could mean quicker response to the attack, then fine. Because the terrorists came, killed us and left without getting challenged. If this app could literally mean the chakshu of the app can see and alert the authorities, then fine, because the victims and survivors said for over 40 minutes they were on themselves. Wow! If hundreds of CCTV cameras could not prevent Delhi blast, will chakshu on my phone suddenly save the country? If this app is the new magic wand of the Intelligence Bureau, then what exactly have our agencies been doing all these years? If the government cannot secure the country without snooping on its citizens, then is the security system failing or is it democracy failing? Surveillance is not new. We all know there is surveillance. We all know that our data is floating in some cloud, in some server room, in some country, in some city, fine. But there is a difference between surveillance you opt into and surveillance forced at your hardware level. This is about consent. This is about liberty. This is about the last thin wall between the citizen and the government. Inside our homes, when we talk to our families, when we share intimate conversations, we at least believe that we are not being heard or monitored. Sanchar Saathi, many fear, cracks that very belief. Even if it does nothing, it breaks that trust. And trust, once broken, cannot be repaired by a press release from PIB. Finally, here's the question to every Indian. Are we moving towards a future where the government decides what apps must live inside our phones? Where your digital privacy becomes a national security compromise? Where dissent equals danger? Where surveillance is the norm and freedom is the exception? If this app is optional, fine. If the app is useful, good. If the app is secure, great. But if the app was meant to be mandatory, forced without consent, pre-installed on every device, with access to your location, network, Wi-Fi data, then the country must ask, do we need protection or do we need permission? Because the next step after surveillance is silence. And silence in a democracy is the most dangerous app of all. I fear if this app will scold me tomorrow if I buy the show tickets of V. Das's Sounds of India or watch him on full volume inside my house on Netflix. Until then, Satyameva Jayate. Jai Hind.